no. And that's the reaction I get from everyone I tell, because they're like, why would you go to Saskatchewan? We did a big Saskatchewan tour, but it's funny. I've traveled for many years, so I didn't feel like I needed to go away for my honeymoon. So Saskatchewan was perfect. And I think it was kind of divine, because it was driving home from Saskatchewan, from Saskatoon actually, that I found Camrose, and I'd never been there before, and I fell in love with their downtown. And as like a free-spirited person, my husband and I put an offer on a house and ended up moving there, like before we had even planned or thought it through. Our parents were like, "You're moving where? Why?" So that's kind of how I came to be in Camrose. So it's a magical moment to be here back in Saskatchewan. So we're all here, and it's awesome that you decided to come, and just know that you're not here by accident. Someone who's really cared about you. But to that extra effort to drag, handcuff, kidnap, and get you here. And so we're grateful for that. And we're here today to talk about something that we're really passionate about, and it's called Juice Class. And a little bit about me, I'm a yoga teacher, and I had a little yoga studio in Camrose. And so in a million years, I could not have imagined that I'd be up here talking about fruits and vegetables, or like getting on a plane at the drop of the hat to talk about fruits and vegetables, but life is funny like that. And I am just, I don't know, beyond passionate about what this can do for people. And so we've been creating a bit of a mission, a movement that's sweeping Canada. And it always blows me away that there's only about 1% of Canadians that know about Juice Class. And it's been around for 20 years. Because I know when I heard about it, it was like the first time I'd ever heard of it. And I was a busy mom. I had a young little daughter, and I'm a granola hippie, and so I was feeding her carob cupcakes on her first birthday, but she was a picky eater, and I tried for her not to be in. Because of it, and I think it was one of the triggers that gave her skin terrible eczema, and I don't know if anyone's suffered with eczema, but you suffer. It's itchy. And for a little one, it was not very pretty, and so I started Juice Plus only because I could get hers for free. And honestly, I wasn't really expecting or needing anything for myself, or so I thought. And so I started taking it, but lo and behold, as I went through, I noticed that I was feeling better, and I was, my skin was looking better, and I had more energy, and all these things started to happen for me, and I was noticing in my daughter that she was fighting her own colds and flus way better. And so that's kind of when I started going, well, what am I taking? I thought I was taking a vitamin, and like anyone in the room that's spreading the gospel of Juice Plus will be like, it's not a vitamin, don't call it a vitamin. And so then that was when the light went on, and I learned that it was just food. And so I had no idea the power of whole food in the body. You grow up thinking, eat your fruits and vegetables, that's what your grandma told you, and you knew that they were good, but they were like, they're so good that they can save your life. So we've become, moms on a mission, and you don't have to be a mom on a mission, but so what it is in a nutshell, and I'll just go through it very briefly. And just know that after, if you need more in-depth, more information, come and talk to someone. We love talking about it. You're open like the floodgates if you're asking us questions about Juice Class. But in a nutshell, what it is it's just 25 fruits, vegetables, and berries, and they've been grown till they're totally ripe, till they're falling off the vine. And then at that moment, they're juiced, dried, and put into a capsule or a gummy chew form. And it's that simple. Something I'm so proud to share is that with an adult order, a child gets to eat their Juice Plus for free. So it's, a worldwide phenomenon, and to date there's about 800,000 people, adults and children, that have taken Juice Plus, and in this human children health study, they found that 96% of those people have found a positive benefit of some kind. Now that's such a huge number when you look at something like immunizations. I think they guarantee to 25% or something like that. So it's big that so many people are finding this as a benefit. So I could go on and on about all of the amazing stories and things that I've found along this journey. When you get a phone call from your dear friend and they're telling you that they're not needing their arthritis medication as often anymore, or someone that's suffered with depression for their whole lives tell you that, oh my goodness, is this what it's like to be happy? And so it's just fruits and vegetables, and that's why we're so passionate about it. And it's got science to prove it. So we have over 30 clinical research studies, and it's studies that have been done in real places, like University of Sydney, Yale University, Harvard University. You've heard of those, right? It's not like the hippie college down in Weyburn, Saskatchewan or something. So you're known by the company you keep.
Is anybody here from Weyburn?
Educational institution there, but you're known by the company you keep, and so we're just so proud to share it. And the reason that we started to do these events, because we get stories and stories, and the company is not, you'll never find a testimonial on any of their marketing material. Let's get that so clear. But these stories are the fabric that hold us together as humans. That's how we live, that's how we learn, and so that's the purpose of these events, is just to kind of let some people share their stories, and they're powerful. And so a couple people that are in the room today have offered to share their stories, because I could talk all day up here, but I want to share other people's stories. So I think, Kim, you offered to share a little bit about what Juice Plus has done for your family.
I can. Can I stand back here?
You can stand back there,
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect. So 10 years ago, at 38, when I'd walk up the stairs, I had shortness of breath. I also had developed some food allergies then, so I became unhealthy. I was scared to eat. I lost weight. I also was mentally imbalanced because I was short-tempered with my kids, and I also was going through a stressful marriage. So I was becoming very unbalanced. My dad at 50 had a heart attack, and that was a wake-up call for me, thinking, is this the path that I'm going down? So I knew that I needed to make some changes. I didn't like who I was, and I also knew that my body wasn't well. So I started eating it, and for a little while, I wasn't feeling very good, but that was a sign as well that my body really needed this. So I persevered and kept eating it, and 8 years later, it's amazing how much healthier I am. I have energy. I don't have shortness of breath at all. I want to work out. I'm at peace, if that makes sense, as far as the shortness of temper. 8 years ago, when we started to eat it, that's when I decided to look at the business to cover costs for my family. I have 4 kids. And then my 20-year marriage broke up. I then became a single parent, and I had to get another job. I'm now ready to make my plan B, plan A, because I want to design my life. I want to design my schedule. I have a grandchild and another one on the way, and if I decide I want to take a day to go visit, that's what I want to do. And also at this time, I'm in a really good relationship. But even though I still, as a woman, need to have my financial independence. And that's my story.
Hey, good job.
Teresa, do you tell a little bit about what it's done for your family and what the product has done?
I could. She's putting me totally
I'm
on the
totally,
spot.
I told her and all.
Can you go to the front, Teresa?
Oh,
Would you mind?
I'll feel safer with standing up here with me.
Give you good energy.
So I was in the Juice Plus actually about 11 years ago, and I wasn't paying attention at all then. I was like, well, we don't take vitamins. I want to try and get it from my food and this and that, and I thought I was really educated, and I thought it was pretty healthy. So I kind of put that on the back burner, and I had our daughter at the time, 3, ate everything. So I didn't really have any issues. I wasn't really concerned about that. Along came our son. Whole different story. Wouldn't even eat any fruits and vegetables, and I honestly was ready to choke him. I'm like, what am I going to do with this kid? Oh my gosh. And then I was at a trade show, meandering around, and I wasn't a supplement taker, so I took a really wide walk around that table. And I'm like, no, I haven't. Nice. So I stood there, and she said, it's just fruits and vegetables and a capsular soft chew. And I'm like, really? I said, a soft chew? Like a 2-year-old could eat it? I'm like, okay, I so need this, but I was like, is it really what you're saying it is? So I actually need to take a little bit of time to look at it. I need to look at the research and actually just really digest it. And I realized I couldn't afford it. So I was like, what am I going to do now? I can't just give this to Owen. So I started to realize that, you know what, we all weren't eating healthy. I thought I was doing okay, but I really wasn't. So I started the business too, and I was running a day home at the time, and oh my gosh, if any of you know what my life was like at that point, crazy. So I wasn't looking for the business. I just decided, you know, I want to get my product paid for. But I fell madly in love with the culture of this business and what it's brought to me and the personal growth. And I'm all nervous right now. I'm like, I can't even breathe. But it has done so much for us. And Owen still does not want to eat fruits and vegetables. In fact, he's eating pizza right now as we speak. But you know, I think that it's keeping him alive. But the bigger story is my husband, and this is where I'll kind of get a little emotional. But anyway, I didn't mean to do this. He was diagnosed, I've heard you too, with congenital heart disease, and to him it was a death sentence. And I knew nothing about nutrition and the power of it. And what I really realized through this whole journey is that was why we were led in that direction, because we needed to understand the power of nutrition. And so I'm happy to report, though, that we're at year 11 without open heart surgery. And that's because it took us down a whole new path of nutrition and health and wellness. And so that's made a huge, huge difference in our world. And the business has become my plan A, because I don't know what's going to happen to him. And I need to be independent. And I need to know that I can support our family. But I'm pumping the juice plus, and we're doing all that we can. And he's doing super, super well. And his cardiologist can't even believe how well he's doing. So anyway, that's a little bit of my story.
So we can go on and share these stories, and something that the company's really proud of is 70% of our whole company, our customers are just having people eating it, and we're so passionate about what it can do in the human body, but and you can hear it. There's been this in this movement and in this helping people way, we became equally passionate about what the business can do for people, and so it's another thing that we've just become compelled to share, because it's just it's like left arm, right arm. You heard when both of them shared, and we didn't prepare anything. It's just from the heart, and so when we're sharing some of the business stories, it's like, if that information isn't for you, tune us out. Just ignore us. But maybe someone that is in your life, your intuition might be going oh, maybe this might be good for them, and that's really why we started opening our mouths. We were scared to do it, but we've become equally as passionate about what we've seen it do for people. And my story, very similarly, well, I told you how I ended up in Camrose. Well, that house that I was talking about, we bought it, but we couldn't afford it at all. And so you can imagine, as young newlyweds with a baby on the way, what that's like when you start that rat race already. A mortgage does not go away at all. I was and so we just started climbing ourselves into debt, and it was another thing that I didn't open my mouth and talk about because it's embarrassing, it's shameful, but life just hands those curveballs, and I know that I'm not the only one in Canada that is there in debt. So it's I faced that fear and started sharing about that, and so this is something. From day one, my husband's had to work out of town always, probably 300 days of the year. And so I was busy, your eyes could cross how busy I was. So I was I'm not going to do anything with the business, but I'm a talker. I think a couple girls know that there's good shopping in Camrose already, because I'm so, I just connect with the good things that are in my life. And so I started this business, and I didn't think it was going to do anything for me. I thought it was a hobby thing. But it's something that now, my husband and I both have been self-employed, but it's something where I'm bringing the benefits home to the family, and I could never have believed that was possible for me. And so, so that's why we share these stories, simply just because the power of what's possible here is too big to keep quiet. So, Barb's our three-amigoed lady, and she's gonna share. You're gonna share a little bit about just share what your heart feels like sharing.
Okay. I'm not wearing the same shirt. All these pictures. When I first learned about Juice Plus, I really loved it, right? And so I really had no intentions of doing any business or anything. I was working full time and I was busy, and I just didn't have any interest in it. But because I loved it, I started to share it with people, just like a would restaurant. We were clothes, or we talk about store all the time, cameras, and those people that I shared with, then they started to share, and before you knew it, I did have a business, and I love this business. It is part of my soul. I would not have met any person in this room except my cousin. I actually didn't know